Welcome back. You're still watching Doing Family with Bunmi on African Entertainment Television. Mrs. Amurawai, we want to talk about how you spend quality time with the children. You know, everybody has 24 hours in a day, but we have to work, we have to do many other things in this 24 hours. So how easy is it to spend quality time?
When my children were growing up, they're all grown up. Most of them are grown up, I would say. Okay. 2 are on their own, and then I still have two teenagers with me. But in their formative years as children, we had to decide. I remember when we had our first. Okay. I was teaching in the school, and then we took him to drop him in the daycare. He was just a baby. I had to resume work. And then we brought him home, and there were some scratches on his body. And my husband said, look, this child is being traumatized where he is. This job that you have, how much... How much is it worth?
He wanted to pay you off. I wanted to keep you on the salary.
No, we had to know. We had to decide: is it worth this child being traumatized, and you don't know what the effect of this trauma would have on the child? Yes. And I decided, okay, look, I have to stop this job.
Wow.
I actually decided that I would stop the job so I could take care of the child. But as God will have it, we had a family friend who said that her daughter had just finished secondary school, and so she was coming to the house to babysit our son then. But we had a priority to take care of the children when they need us. Sometimes it's a sacrifice, but most of the time it's a sacrifice. Once you've lost them, you cannot go back to
in time. That's right. To undo whatever
to undo the harm that would have been done. So for us, we decided that wherever we are, another example is when they were growing in a primary school in particular, even in secondary school, we would take them to school. We're not putting them in school bus. I'm not saying school bus is bad, but the time we spend, take them from the house to school,
is the time to bond.
Yes, the time to bond. They are listening to you, you are listening to them. For many of them, immediately you pick them up, they will download everything that happened in school to you.
Which is what we want as parents.
Yes, which is what we want. And I cannot imagine what to replace that time. If they have to have someone else pick them, or they have the school bus pick them. Those are quality time that we spend with the children. And then when they come back from school, they have 1,001 questions. That is not the time that they don't know who to ask because you are not there. You cannot be an absentee parent and then bond with your children.
Wow.
So it's really, it's a priority that I had to set, my husband had to set. Wherever we are, once it's time to pick them from school, we drop everything and then we are racing there. And that happened with all 4 of them. So it's, I would say, despite our economy, despite our society, despite our need to be able to make ends meet, if you set in motion, and if you set at the back of your mind that this is priority, you let go of all others and work at being there for your children when they need you.
And that also tells the child how important they are in your life.
Yes.
That's very important.
Don't see it picking your school run. School run is, I don't know, is 80% of school work. Yeah, school run. It was a lot. But when I went to say, oh, once this last one finishes, we'll go and do Thanksgiving in church.
And have you gone to do that?
We did.
We did
go to the altar.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. So, Mr. Murawai, how would you say that over the time you and Madam have been able to spend quality time with the children? What were those practical things you did apart from picking them from school and being there for them? Which other activity did you actively engage in to let the child know that this time is your time?
Yes. For example, after work, let's say after 5, you get back home and you eat whatever. You need to locate where your child is and start to engage him in what interests him. Unfortunately, many fathers, let me talk from the point of view of fathers.
I would appreciate that.
Many fathers don't do that. They come back from work, they feel they are too tired, they go into their room, they start watching television. That was not what I did with our own children.
But was that how you were brought up?
Not exactly, because in my own case, I had a father who took a lot of interest in me as a son, and I still keep commending him today.
Were you the only son?
No, I was not. As a matter of fact, we were eight children that my mother gave birth to, 4 on each side.
Wow.
Yes, but he was someone who listened to me a lot. And if I had any issue bothering my mind, he would take immediate interest. And he was very passionate about nothing untoward should happen to any of his children. And what I did in my own case was I took time to be personally close to each and every one of them.
True.
So in the evenings after work, on the rug, I play with them, plays that will interest them. I talk to them as if they are friends.
Yeah.
I talk to them on a one-to-one basis as if we are mates.
You don't
Talk down to them.
Yeah,
I don't
you don't
talk down to them.
Right
I
from the
did that
beginning.
deliberately so that they can bond with me.
Yeah, they can approach you
They
easily.
can approach me easily. And that happened
You played off.
with all the 4 of them. So that now, today, the 4 of them, apart from they being my children, we are also friends. We are also friends.
Yeah.
So that is how to go about it. Don't stay aloof from your children. We have a family friend who, he preaches from place to place, and he has virtually lost all his children.
My
Sorry.
goodness.
Because even when he comes back from all his travels, he will still go back to his room praying and being in the spirit. While that is good, but you must recognize that you have a family that has to be close to you.
That's your first ministry.
So we had incidents where he was sitting with his children. We were there at an eatery, and you could see the frozen relationship between them. They could not flow. Father, son, they couldn't flow. So these are the effects, and this will impact negatively on the ability of those children to be able to relate with people.
And even parents when it's their own turn.
They'll be able to relate with people when they become adults.
Adults, to relate with community.
For example, I made my children so close to me, and the intention is that wherever you see a male adult, if he is older than you, you should know that he's a friend. Because if they see me as a friend, they tend to see every other male adult as a friend. And I could see how that affected them. Because our first son, for example, could talk to
virtually any.
They see their father as the ultimate. So if I can talk to the ultimate, if I can enter the room of the ultimate, you are not a big deal.
Yeah.
That's how children function. That's how they walk. That's how they think.
Just be polite.
Just
be polite to them. So if you take them through that route, you will find that they become confident. And that helps them when they get to real life. It helps them to be able to relate with authority figures.
Yes.
Because you are the authority figure at home. So if you suppress them, they will forever remain mum before authority figures. But if you give them that freedom and you let them show them that they are important, show them that they can talk with you.
They matter.
Even the friends of our children, they notice this like peer-to-peer communication that happens. But there is a word of caution there. It does not now mean that your children will start disrespecting you.
Yes.
Immediately they cross that line. If, for example, they are taking the relationship for granted and they are acting out of disrespect, you need to correct them firmly. Love is not just sweet. Love can be firm, it can be tough. So when you provide that balance, it helps those children to be able to, turn out well in life. You give them that sense of responsibility, that sense of respecting authority, but not fearing authority.
Not fearing authority.
Yes, that's the best blend for any child that is growing into adulthood.
That's very interesting. Now, I want to ask, in the African setting, the father is supposed to be the all in all. When you do something wrong in the house and your mother says, just wait for your father to come back. The child is already peeing in his pants. Now, I believe that having this relationship with your children took that out of the equation for them.
Yes.
It was able to help them to balance and not see you as, oh, he's around.
Exactly.
Because when they hear daddy's horn, pam, pam, everybody must be reading. Whether you understand, you don't understand, you must be reading. That's very interesting. To round up this segment, Mr. and Mrs. Amurawai, what has been your, I'm asking Mrs. Amurawai this question, what has been your most exciting period? Or what is the most exciting thing that's happened to you in your 31 years of marriage? What are those memories you hold dear that you think about when he's not around and you just smile and you know, you look forward to his coming home for that day? Can you share them with us if you don't mind?
Plenty. I'm just trying to roll back time and see. Yesterday or so, I just remembered the time that shortly we started having children shortly after we got married.
Yeah.
And when I discovered that I had conceived, my husband was very involved right from the beginning. He would pray with me. He would lay hands on the baby when the baby is moving in the stomach. The bonding started right utero, you know. He would say, okay, he said there was going to be a baby boy. I wanted a baby girl. It turned out it was a baby boy. And then when it was time, every Saturday, he would fast throughout the time that I was pregnant.
What a sacrifice.
Yes, it was. And then when I had the baby, he took my son, and you know this knapsack that mothers, my husband would take our child and put it, and then they would look at us. Then we were living in a complex.
Okay.
Who is this odd-looking father?
Couple.
He took great pleasure in that. And when we look at the pictures showing the bond, you sit down with our baby, eyeball to eyeball.
Yeah.
It's been an really exciting journey being parents. And when we see them now grown up, and they look back and we think about all the journey throughout, right from the beginning, and it's going to be 31 years soon, like we said. We have cause to praise God. The children have grown up. They are doing well in their endeavor, in schooling, exceptionally well. And I just thank God.
Okay.
I thank God.
Okay.
It's been a great time.
Okay. Which one word will you use to describe him?